miss my cycling friends. Let's figure out Zwift Meetup so I can sort of hang out with those guys again, because I kind of like them sometimes. Hey race fan, Brian Davis Races, and you can too is a group ride on Zwift. So a couple of guys I ride with have set up a meetup on Zwift, and I follow them on the Zwift companion app, which means that I will be invited when they meet up. Some of you watching this will be like, oh yeah, I've been doing that for years, but there's plenty of people that have never messed around with Discord or messed around with trying to do a group ride on Zwift. So I'm going to try both those things, and I'm going to report back my findings. I think our group's going to be maybe like 4 or 5 people, so it'll be a nice little controlled group, and I'll be able to give you my thoughts on how to set it up, why you would set it up. Screen here, you see I've been invited to this group, so I'll be going to that in 6 minutes. Mark is my friend who's putting this on. I'll be riding with Mark, and then that's my Discord that I can chat with Mark. All right, let's get into how to set up the meetup. All right, you're going to open the companion app that you download from the App Store, and then you're going to go into Events. Once you're in Events, there's 3 icons along the top: a bike, a run, and this little group icon. Click on that, and then after that, you'll be into the right spot to create a meetup. And you can see other meetups that you're already attending in that same screen. So then you just follow the prompts. We want to do a cycling one. We're going to do it in Watopia. We're going to go for 18 miles or duration 60 minutes, whatever you want to do. I'm going to customize the group by keeping everyone together. That's really important. More on that later. And you can message group, hey, thanks for joining the weekly ride, whatever it is. And then you can only invite people that follow you on Zwift. And this is where it gets kind of interesting. So you have to make sure that anyone you want to invite is already following you. Now, the way that you would want to publicize, if you were interested in doing that, a meetup, it would be to put your username out on Zwift and say, follow me, we're going to be doing a meetup, but first you have to follow me on the Zwift companion app. Once you do all that, it'll all work. So the meetup, you can either join or disregard. You can see the number of people coming, and you can edit it. Also go back in later into the companion app and edit. All right, so there's another way to do this too, and that's to actually request a meetup. So if you want to ride with someone in particular, you would go in and find that person, and then you can basically follow the exact same process. Or if you knew that someone was doing a group ride and you weren't invited for whatever reason and you're trying to figure out how to get in touch with them, this would be one way to do that. So I'm going to choose to ride with Sean. Not sure why, but I will, just for this little test. So I can continue to invite more people. It doesn't have to be just 2 people when you do a request of a meetup, but it's exactly the same process. It's just 2 different ways to get there. Either you're going to create one or you're going to request one. Those are the 2 ways. All right, so that's it. And you can see the number of people going in the pending group. You can see if people have accepted the invite or not. It actually is easy. It's not as complicated as I wanted it to be. So over the years, I've always been scared to do this stuff because I tried it like 4 years ago and totally screwed it up. So, well, times have changed. And when I say I tried Discord. The meetup thing is maybe a year old, but the Discord thing always threw me off because it seems so intimidating. But again, download Discord from the App Store, and you'll most likely join someone else's server the first time you do it. So if you are creating a meetup, you optionally can create a Discord server so people can chat during the meetup. These are 2 separate things. They're not connected, but they can be. Now, in that process, you can have a chat on text or chat on voice. There's no reason to do text because you have that inherent into the Zwift companion app. So you'd only want to use this for talk. Then there's 2 ways to talk, either push to talk or talk on activity. So basically once you start making noise, it picks up your mic. Now we thought push to talk would be the right way to go, but I think with quieter trainers and a small group, you can get away with voice activated.
Bad my heavy breathing works. And you guys can just tell me if you don't want that.
Just a quick example of how it works with Mark and I.
So are you doing push to talk, or are you going to do the voice activated?
I'm going to do push to talk this time.
All right, Race Fam, well, we're learning stuff. We got our little group together. When you select keep the group together, you can't really get away from the beacon, nor can you get dropped. So it's cool. Right, you cannot get away from the beacon if they selected keep group together. Really important information, and it works out exceptionally well. It's kind of neat. So we tested it. So this is how you set up. So you go into Zwift like you normally would, set up all your devices, and then you can see I'm going to that event that's going to start in about 2 minutes. I choose ride, and then if you're within striking distance of that event starting, it'll cycle you over there directly.
Or the beacon.
So I can see Mark's beacon up there to the left, and I know that I'm in the right place. The group ride starts, I'm sorry, not a group ride. The meetup starts in 1 minute and 15 seconds. These words are important because there's other things on Zwift that are actually organized group rides, and those are very different than these meetup situations. So we are going to roll out, and once we get started, you can see everyone who is in your meetup on the right-hand side turn green. Now, only the folks in green are in your meetup. The other folks are just riding along on Zwift. Now, they do see you, we think. There is the potential that they don't. So the reason I mention that is because one of the guys that was supposed to be in our meetup was having some technical difficulties and couldn't get to us on time or couldn't join or whatever the case was. So while we're on that note, it's really important to be on time because you cannot join late once a meetup has begun. So Sean is not green with us, but he's riding with us. So you can see SB Bike Team right below all the green icons, and he's working with us. Now, when you're in your meetup, not all your jerseys are the same. And then also I wanted to point out, trying to get away, you can see my watts per kilo go to 6.5, 6.2. I'm sprinting, trying to get away from this group. Mark, who's the leader, is at 3.3. I should be creating, obviously, separation between Mark at 2.2. I'm at 4.7, but that's not happening. So you can see we're all staying in that same rubber band effect. And we tested that pretty good. So I could be all the way down to 1.5 watt per kilo and still riding with the group as they're going fast. So my final thoughts on the meetup process is I actually think it's really, really slick. I don't think Discord is necessary unless you're going to be doing a recovery ride because, like a real group ride, everyone's huffing and puffing and no one really talks. So there's not a whole lot of point to having that on Discord. And you can do group texting in the meetup as well, just by hitting a keyboard shortcut. I believe it's M, as in Mary. If you hit M or message, then you can text the group, which we did because someone was leaving early and they weren't on Discord. So it is handy to communicate that way. So you can only have 50 people on your meetup invited. You can only ride the course scheduled at the time of the meetup. You can't do particular workouts. The group leader could sort of choose to do a workout and people could follow along with them, but not necessarily, doesn't have to go that route. Okay, and the meetups can be scheduled for 7 days in advance. And like I said before, you cannot join a meetup late. And be careful creating them because Zwift is still playing around with this. So if you do create it and you mess up and you create another one and mess up, create another one and mess up, you can only do 3 of these in 24 hours. At least that's the information I'm seeing. I'm not going to test that theory, but that's what I understand. So overall, I think it's really handy. I think it's just another element to Zwift. It just adds some amount of option. If you want to do this with your riding buddies and have a little group together, I think it's super fun. I think Discord would be great for a recovery ride, and I think that I will be doing this on the channel. So if you're interested in joining a meetup, follow me on Zwift. My username is my first name, I guess, is listed as dot, and then it's YouTube Brian Davis Races. You can see it over there to the right-hand side, YouTube/Brian Davis Races. All right, so the workout was great. It was hard. I worked more than I normally would have by myself, so it ticked all the boxes and accomplished the mission.
Man, that was cool. There's a lot to like about that system, keeping everybody together. There's a couple things that, you know, little tweaks here and there, but I don't know. I need a little more time to give you my thoughts. I'm just finishing the ride. My overall impression of the group ride thing and Discord together, I give it like a 7 out of 10. I don't know that I need Discord in my life, at least for this type of ride. On a recovery ride, Discord would be super fun. This ride, like a lot of group rides, was right in the middle of intensity.
All right, that's the Zwift Meetup process. Pretty straightforward and really cool. Again, I think the best way to use this is for recovery rides or to ride with pretty small groups of really close friends. It's the Discord thing is fun, but it really only works if you're not killing yourself. Anyway, my overall thoughts on this thing, love it, really happy they have it. I can't believe it took me so long to figure it out. super simple to set up. I would encourage you to try it with a couple of your buddies. All right, that's all I got for you today. The goal on this channel is to grow our sport, grow our knowledge, and grow our fitness. And hopefully I delivered that to you today. Please consider subscribing. I would really appreciate it. Thanks.